Hello, good people. Welcome to my channel. My name is SHIYELIA in Korea. I'm so happy to do a live stream on a Friday, 15th of July. It's been a while. I know I was here 2 days ago, but I just feel like it's been a while. I'm here to do part 2 of the problems faced by students in South Korea. One of my viewers asked me others several questions about student life, and the person said, please elaborate. And from the questions that she asked me, I realized there are many things that I left out concerning student life in Korea. So hello, cool gamer, I see you. Thank you so much for watching. So since it's a Friday, I will try and talk about all the points in the first 30 minutes, and then I will see the engagement in the chat. If the engagement in the chat is high, I may stay here for a while because it's a Friday. If not, I'll just quit the video at 30 minutes. But anyways, I'm here to say I'm going to talk about the problems faced by students in Korea, and I'll put timestamps to this video, and the experiences that I share are my own experiences and other people around me, but I don't say people's names. And yeah, so it's only for culture exchange purpose only, and motivation for those who want to come to study in Korea. So I have my book as usual, it's here. So yeah, the person asked me about very serious issues of monetary problems faced by students, and they were also asking me how did I overcome monetary problems. So I'll briefly, or in detail, yes, I'll try and say in detail what I did to overcome monetary problems. So yeah, number one problem is monetary problem for students who are on partial scholarship. That one, if you're on partial scholarship, the money is not enough. Like, you may be offered only fully funded tuition and dormitory, and then the living expenses you see for yourself, like I explained in the first video. So yeah, so I've said partial scholarship previously, sometimes you get dormitory or you don't get it, or you sometimes get discounted fees, not fully funded tuition. Maybe it's 90% discount, you have to pay 10%. It just depends on scholarship. So for me, my scholarship was fully funded tuition, and then I was getting a partial allowance, like just something to sustain me, almost like $120 per month. But in Korea, for a fully funded scholarship, someone should get around $800. That's the minimum per month, and to me, I was getting $120, which is a very little amount of money. So yeah, hi sister, I see you. Thank you so much. So yeah, it was not easy being on partial scholarship. So how did I manage to balance? For me, we used to get the allowance, maybe we used to get the 3 months allowance in one time, and I was in language school. So in language school, the semesters were short. I think 2 months were constituting a semester. So those 2 months that were constituting a semester, I used to get allowance for 3 months, right? And then that time when the semester starts in language school, that's when I used to buy all the books that I have to use that semester. Then I buy my sanitary wear, I buy my stationery, and then I would buy the most important things, like the most important things. Then the rest of the stuff, like lunch or just maybe traveling with friends, going shopping or whatsoever, I would just cut them off completely because I couldn't afford going to such expensive trips. So I somehow was like using my money for the basics, like for the basics which are essential, like yeah. And I even had some support also when I left home. I had some money that I had, but it was not really much. I think it was around $1,000, but it saw me through for the first 6 months because I was not using that money like, I was really doing the mother style, like African mother style of taking just a little by little, so that, and that $1,000 that I had is my settling allowance pulled me through, and I even prepared some clothing enough to sustain me for winter, though I knew Korean winter I needed even better, warmer stuff. So yeah, it was just those 1 or 2 items that I bought in Korea, but most of the things I tried to bring from home, especially sanitary ware. I just brought enough to see me for the next 3-4 months because it's not heavy and even it's cheap back home. So yeah, those were the strategies that I used to try and settle even on a small allowance. So but then as time went on, I started failing to manage my funds because I wasn't having even, I was promised a grant, but the grant was not coming. The grant was enough to sustain me just like someone on fully funded scholarship, but the monies there were lots of talks and nothing was fruitful, and we kept on writing letters asking, when are we going to get the grant? When are we going to get the grant? And we almost gave up. I'm saying we because I and my other colleague, we were promised similar grant. So that's how my case unfolded. So yeah, it was really tough. Now I'm stronger. I remember that the last time I shared this story, I was feeling like crying, but I know now I'm stronger. Really, really, I am very, very, very strong now. I'm even seeing it as a stepping stone to success. Because that time, oh, life was not easy. Thank you, Miss Anita Boo. Thank you, Sister Elizabeth and Cool Gamer. So yeah, life was not easy. So yeah, my money, my resources started going down in the around 4th to 6th month, and I even, thank you, sister, I even stayed a while without extra funding, right? So I didn't even have a phone for the first 4 to 6 months in Korea. I didn't have a phone at all because Korean phones that time, there were only contract lines only, and I had even left my handset at home because I was like, I'm going to Korea, the world of technology. How can I bring a phone from Africa? Let me just leave the phone and I'll see how I can buy my own first phone when I go to Korea. It was like that, but hey, I couldn't even afford to buy a phone for the first, I want to say 6 months. For the first 6 months, I couldn't afford buying a phone. So yeah, later on, it was when even I got some, what can I call them? Some volunteer work that I got offered. So I started the volunteer work. So for volunteer work, the good thing was I was getting paid for every trip that I went. I was getting paid for volunteer work. I remember I used to get around $40, around $40 of around $40 for volunteer work that I went to do in other cities, like for culture exchange, teaching about Zimbabwean culture to Korean students. That was what kept me going. So later on, yeah, even the resources were not enough at all. So later on, I met some people from Africa. I'm trying to fix my page. I met some people from Africa. I saw some sisters from Nigeria who were doing hair braiding. So I told them, sisters, I can assist you in your shop to braid, and you can pay me something. I'm a student. I'm trying to balance my things. My scholarship is not good. So the sisters, I think there were 3 or 4 people with their hair braiding shops here in Korea. So they were like, okay, you can come and help us. We can call you. So first time the other sisters called me, and then they gave me something. The other time the other sister, so I ended up having one sister who was really good with me, and she really paid me so well that sometimes over the weekend I could make $100 or $150. Some customers even gave me tips because I was helping to finish up the braids, or maybe helping someone taking out the braids or washing their hair, whatsoever, the small jobs in the hair braiding shop. Like, that was the only job I could do, because if we look at the Korean market, I was not suitable for any type of job in Korea because my language was zero. Everything was zero. Like, speaking, I couldn't speak Korean. Writing, I couldn't write. So I wasn't fit for any job. So that only African lady I assisted to braid was the only one who was really helping me out. So I started earning some money braiding hair, like assisting to braid. So as time went on, I remember, I'm going to tell the real story because this person who asked this question wants to know and figure out how can she can also, how she will, because she's planning to come to Korea, how she will try and also find ways of settling in Korea if she comes on a partial scholarship. That's why I'm going into detail now. So time moved on faster. I don't know, it was almost a year after I came on partial scholarship, like when I got used to living in poverty, I can say, when I got used to skipping lunch, when I got used to eat just a small piece of bread for lunch those days, like, yeah, when I used to be, like, sometimes there are times you get used to your situation to the extent of, like, okay, me, I know myself, I don't have money for lunch, so if someone invite me for an event where there is food, I better go, like, if it's lunchtime. That was the kind of person I was. So if there were, like, maybe Bible studies or whatever meetings, and they say there's refreshments and it's weekday, I would go running because I don't have any excuse, because I'm thinking, if I don't go to that event, then I have to start thinking of what do I eat for lunch. So I was like, God, please, me, I removed this one of saying I don't want events. So I used to attend many events if it's weekday, in, like, at our school. So I remember one time there was one pastor, I can't say names because I don't know if they want to be said their names, at our school. She noticed that some of us students were on a partial scholarship, so we couldn't even afford to buy lunch. So she arranged that, I think, at least we could meet was it Wednesday and Friday? At least we could meet 2 times per week. So yeah, those meetings, she would buy lunch for us. She would, the small things sometimes. I mean, like, I'm appreciating, even if she could bring, like, scones or something, just anything for us to have. It was really something very big for us. Like, it was filling the void. Those days, I don't want to lie, I was a really struggling student money wise. I didn't want to pressurize my family to say, oh, send me money in Korea, because I knew Korea is developed. So for them to send me money, I know they would go out their way to send me money, and yet they're the ones who you want to use most of the money in Africa. So I would say I never said much about me not balancing things, but I just clearly said to them, I don't have any opportunity to really work. So I know you may have expectations that I'm in diaspora, but for now, I don't think I can send anything. But other students who were on fully funded scholarships used to send money to their families back home. But for me, I would just escort other people to send money to their families. And I was like, just like you'll be like just thinking when will be my turn that I will also send money to my family, even if it's just a $20. I couldn't even afford that much. I didn't even have any money to spare. I was a struggling student financially. So later on, my grant was successful. I could get a grant from Zimbabwe. Yeah, we were getting a grant. So me and my friend were getting some grants from Zimbabwe. So the grant was monthly, and it was even enough for us to even like it was just like similar to the fully funded scholarship. So I, from that time, like a year after my stay in Korea, my life became normal. I was no longer stressed financially because the first year in Korea was the toughest. I used to cry. I used to ask myself, did I make the wrong mistake? Did I make the wrong decision to come to Korea? But I never found myself deciding to quit because I was a struggling student financially. I was just like, let me just keep on and keep pushing. So the people around me who were assisting me with those simple things were the ones who were even giving me strength and hope. I was like, if I could just go to the hair shop and assist the lady to braid, and then I get $50 or I get $100 or I get $150, if there are many customers, then I'll be like, okay, at least I'm having something. And I remember one time one of my friends said, she was from Europe, so some people from Europe could teach English. So she said to me, I know you like kids, so can you work on my place as a substitute teacher? I'm going for vacation. I said, okay, I'll try. Then she said, it's easy, I'll just train you how to do. And then I went and taught the students for just 2 weeks, and then I got my money, and the money was so good, and even much more than the money I was getting for my partial scholarship. I was getting 120 in partial scholarship, but those 2 weeks I got, I think, around $600. Yeah, it was really that good. So I just was like, wow. It was that time when I worked for that kind of 2-week job. Hey, I was like, oh God, thank you so much. And then I sent money home. That was the first time I sent money home. I just said, okay, I did some mini part-time job and it paid so well. That's why I'm remembering you. Then I sent some money home and I was happy. You can see my smile that time I was happy. Like, I was really happy that at least I have something to spare, like, seriously. If you stayed as a struggling student, you understand what I'm trying to say. That was my life in Korea. So yeah, I think that's all I can say about my situation. How I balance. I later got a grant, and then I was not stressed at all. I was only worried about Korean language only, not about financial things, because my finances were really good. So that time I was like, whew, I'm no longer a sad student. Because before that, I was worried about losing scholarship if I don't pass Korean, and yet I don't even have enough funding to buy those fancy dictionaries, whatsoever, study books, extra study books. I used to make sure my essential things and my books, my study books, but I couldn't buy too many. I just used to buy one or two, and then the other ones I'll borrow others and just read for an hour and return their books whatsoever, just like that. That's how I managed. So I hope this video will help you, because you asked me about this question. I didn't ask her if she wants me to say about this. Thank you, Sister Ben. Hi, thank you. So I will proceed to talk about the other difficulties students face in Korea. Yeah, she also asked me about financial proof, because for you to get your visa processed, you need around, this is the money I'm talking about is the money that they used to want to see for partial scholarship students. They used to request for around $20,000 in the bank account. I don't know now because of inflation. There's some kind of inflation in Korea, so definitely I'm sure they increased that money again, so you need to check again. But before, that amount of money used to be $20,000 when you are processing your visa as a student. So every semester they used to request for that bank statement, which shows that you have that kind of amount of money as a student to sustain you throughout your studies. So so for me, because I had other proof that some institution was going to support me, and they quoted the amount of money that they were going to support me, I wasn't requested to show any $20,000. Yeah, that time they were not asking. They were not. Okay, thank you. I will read. Oh, thank you, Sister Gwen. Thank you, Mr. Logic. I'll read all your comments after I share all the things, or I'll read the comments and respond to you. So yeah, for the visa, they used to ask for $20,000 US, but in my case, because my funding was 100% Korean tuition and dormitory I was offered, and some partial scholarship I was offered by a university. The partial allowance, yes, partial allowance I was given by the university, and I was also doing research. I was also getting some partial research funds. So in the end, I later started to get around $450, and I just needed an extra $400 for me to be like a fully funded student, to have $800 as an allowance. So yeah, all I can say is, for me, my situation was totally different. I don't want to say name, the other institution had signed off me to say they will support me with a living allowance. So the money they had promised me was enough to clear off the $20,000, because that money I was going to get it monthly, but they were not giving me the money. That was the problem on my side. It's similar to, let me explain this way. It's similar to if you borrow money from people and then prove that you have $20,000 and then when you get the visa, you return the money to the people. But in real life, you are now on ground in Korea. You want the money, so you get stranded. That was my situation. I was promised money for my upkeep, but I never got the money. So I was stranded. For the whole year. I was just trying by all means to do this and that. And that time in 2011, things were really different and difficult. Korea was a little bit more can I say discriminatory? Yeah. There were few foreigners from Africa, though we were many who had just came that time, but our coming was not really welcomed. So there were very few chances to see or hear anyone of our color working anywhere in Korea. So we were just strictly students. So if we would find work, maybe we would work at a foreigner's shop or a foreigner's an international person also, not a Korean. That was the situation back then. So yeah, so other students, if you are coming to Korea, the truth is you need to prove the money that you have. Musazoite zvokukwereta muchida kuprova zvinhu zvamusina, munouya mukatambura. You should have your own funding. This one, yeah, I had to say in Shona, you should have your own funding if you are on partial scholarship. So basically, you need around $700 to $1,000 to sustain you per month, so that you cover your rent house, you cover your living, your food expenses, transportation, books, and everything on that $700 to $1,000 per month. That's the budget for a student according to their regulations in Korea. A student should be financed, fully financed with $700 to $1,000 per month. So apart from the amount you need to prove whatsoever, you need to budget $700 to $1,000 per month as living cost. So she also asked about problems of finding a professor. Yeah, if you just come to Korea and okay, I'm talking about someone who has never been to Korea. Someone who wants to come to Korea, looking for a professor is difficult, but it's easy. Looking for a professor is difficult, but it's easy. Thank you so much, Sister Gwen. Looking for a professor is difficult, but it's easy. So what do you do if you want to look for a professor? And why do you even have to look for a professor? Like if you come to study master's degree and PhD degree, that's when you need to look for a supervisor. And the supervisor is your professor who is going to assist you, supervise your work as you are preparing for thesis and your dissertation, if it's master's or PhD. So when you are looking for a scholarship that time, they actually ask you, did you identify any professor? There is a process you go through. So you need to read the professors' profiles. Every university, when you're applying for school, they even say you go to the department. If it's Department of Material Science, you check the profile in the department, you see which majors are there. Is it electronics? Is it about batteries? Is it about solar panels? Is it about computers? It's up to your major. Then you see the professors and say, oh, okay, I think I want to do ceramics. Then you see the ceramics professor. You then read the professor's work in detail and get the keywords of his study. When you get the professor's keywords of study, that will be your guideline, because projects in Korea are different from projects in Africa. I think I will have to do a video, standalone video, to talk about projects in Korea, so that you don't prepare for the wrong research, because that is the problem that we have, people from Africa. Especially me, I struggled on that one when I first came. I was thinking of my own ideas, of my own things that I wanted to do, even though I knew the keywords were still within the keywords of the research, which was wrong. In Korea, they work on certain theme, on certain subject or certain topic that is sponsored by the government or some ministry. In that way, there's no way you as a student, you come with your own idea totally different from the professor's work. Whatever you will do should tally with what professor is doing. So when you choose a professor, you choose wisely. You don't choose and say, later on say to the professor, your topic that you are doing, I can't do it. I want to do this one of my own. So when you are selecting and choosing, the choosing time, like the selecting time, is the one you have to think well and know is that area of study your interest? Because whatever you do would definitely has to tally with the professor's project that he has. In Zimbabwe, you can just go and register for your master's PhD, and your project, you can identify a company where you can get your samples, and no one will ask you about it, no one will follow you about it. It's up to you to just to work towards that person you are working on, like as your research. But in Korea, you are guided by some topic that someone already proposed for to get funding. So there's no way you wake up and say, this topic, I'm tired of it, I want to do something totally different. There's no way. If you are in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. Because whatever you're doing in that work, you have to produce result. This topic, I'll do it on its own. So good people, let me see the other main points that I have to say, so that this video should not be too long, and then I can do shout outs. Like, yeah, I think with the engagement that I'm seeing, I have to stop the video within 10 minutes. So yeah, I've answered for the how to find professor. You read the professor's profile, area of study, his publications, his researches, and find the keywords and just work with those ones to come up with a research proposal to this professor, because whatever you're going to propose should be aligning somehow to his work. So yeah, I have other two main points before I close this video. In Korea, it's also difficult to make friends. It's very, very difficult to make genuine friends. I'm talking about this as a lady, like maybe ladies, even men, yeah, maybe it may resonate with some people. It's difficult to make genuine friends, and because people have their different characters and personalities, and we're still, we are coming from different continents. What you value, someone doesn't value it. So in the end, to really get a genuine friend in Korea is tough. So when you come with an open mind that whoever is there to vibe with you, you just vibe. If you can't vibe with that person, it's okay. Look for the other person. Don't be clingy. When you get clingy to someone you don't really know and you just met in Korea, I think your stay won't be really good. There are some people that we have noticed around us who are very clingy, and things don't go well. Like, yeah, they just don't go well. People like their independence out here. If you're someone who is like me, who came to a far land continent for the first time, I've been to South Africa and other countries. I know when I was a baby, I used to travel a lot. But when I became an adult, this was my first time to move out of Africa. So I just saw with my own eyes that moving away from home when you are an adult requires an open mind, that whoever is with you there, vibe with that person, part ways and go. Don't open your secrets easily, because you don't know that person. What you value is something that they don't value. So it takes time to really find a genuine friend. So you have to be really careful. So the other thing, last point, and then I'll close this video. It's difficult to understand Koreans and their culture. I'm talking of this point, really it requires a big video about this thing. Anyway, let me talk about this way. When you come to Korea, you find that some Korean friends that you make, it's not a matter of they want to be friend with you on friend basis only. No. In most cases, they want to be friends with you because they just want to learn English from you, nothing else. And the only thank you they can give to you is some candy from their bag or buying you coffee. And English lessons are very expensive. So sometimes if you really think well, you'll be like, I'm being used somehow. They may ask you to edit some stuff, you edit for them. What you get in return, you get coffee or candy from their bags. That's all. Or maybe a meal, which is something strange, like. And in the end, you'll be just like, this is not friendship at all. I'm just assisting this person for them to benefit. So I don't know, it just depends. Like, it just depends with your level of friendship. But what I have seen around me, or around people around me, like in my society, people fake friendships. Yeah, they fake friendships so that they master their skills. Yeah, you'll be the bridge to their success. In return, you get nothing. So you should have an open mind. If you are just willing to help them, it's okay, but don't expect a lot. But there are many times where you will be used for nothing, or maybe a simple candy, or just a simple meal, or a simple cup of coffee. So tread carefully when it comes to friendship stuff. Don't be clingy. Some people fake it because they want something from you. So good people, I think that's all I have. I'll come back again with other problems that we face as foreigners in Korea. If whatever I've said resonates with you, please let me know in the comment section. I really enjoyed reading the comments from the previous videos, because people were really saying, we really 100% confirming whatever you're saying about problems faced by foreigners in Korea. So good people, thank you so much for watching. I have to close this video. Yes, I have to close, but I have to do shout out too. I have been blessed to experience a lot. Thank you. You have been blessed to experience a lot. Thank you so much, sister. I really was very patient throughout my process. 10 years plus in Korea, I was learning every day. So now I use that opportunity to share out my experience with others so that they can also develop themselves to be better people. I'm swallowing my words. Yes, it is so sad how people fake friendships. Yes, they fake friendships so that they master their English skill. In the end, sometimes really it's so funny. Someone you can practice English with them every day, and when you part ways, they will never even remember about you, not even to send a hi message. Nothing. They'll just disappear and ghost you forever, but you were helping them 365 days with their English. So it is what it is. Like, for me, I'm just like someone who is willing to share my skills if I have any. So, but that's the truth of the things which happen. So appreciation time, so that I stop the video before it gets to 1 hour. Yeah, I want my videos to be shorter so that people can actually engage more. Thank you so much. Major shout out to you, Cool Game Mom. Thank you, Sister Elizabeth. Have a wonderful weekend over there in South Africa. Thank you so much, Miss Nita Boo and Life and Stuff. Thank you. I appreciate you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, Sister Gwen. Thank you. I appreciate your support. And Mr. Logic said, very informative and highly appreciated, Honorable. Thanks a million times for sharing. Thank you. More points to follow because this topic is broad. So I'm preparing step by step and giving you feedback. If you have more questions, just inbox me. You know where to inbox me. Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, good to see you all. We were talking to each other. Thank you so much. Have a good time. I love you all. Thank you, Sister Gwen. Have a lovely weekend. That side in the US. In Korea, it's 11:25. I'm going to write timestamps and write down the points that I left, and then I'll try to prepare again for other videos. Thank you so much to the replay gang. You did amazing job. We are over 4K hours Woo! It's celebration time. I better come and celebrate for reaching 4K hours with you. Thank you so much for watching. Check you in my next video. Ciao, ciao, good people.